bags where horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer. And today I wanted to bring you the 1994 film by Mike Nichols, Wolf. So we have this one starring Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer and James Spader, our main three for this one. Yeah, this is kind of a kind of an interesting time in cinema because I think you got a couple of movies off the back of the kind of the big budget Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola, and I think that kind of was like the catalyst for you had this, and I think either at the same time or like directly afterwards you have Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I mean, even the names of that is like Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Here we have like the werewolf, and it's kind of well, this one was done a little different. I mean, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is very much following on the creation of how Bram Stoker's Dracula was done. It's kind of almost light on horror, that film. It's very like period piece sort of thing. But anyway, I'm kind of not reviewing those ones. I'm reviewing Wolf, and this was a different take. So this was like a modern day reimagining of the Werewolf Man, the Wolfman, the original. And it's more literal sense of you have werewolf aspects, but the end game with this one is turning into a wolf. But we follow Jack Nicholson, and he's publisher, editor, something like that, in a huge book firm. One of these huge like companies, and he's quite old. He's quite mellow in his ways, but we're following him at the start. And is it Maine, I think, or something like that? He's driving and he hits a wolf, and it bites him, and strange things start to happen. So we also get introduced to, I think it's Christopher Plummer. So he has bought out the company, this publishing company that Nicholson works for, and he's basically been downgraded for the job. We find out his protege, James Spader, has hounded. He's like a bit of a snake in this movie, a bit of a Weasley snake. He's a bit cowardly in his ways. With how he goes around things, and any confrontation he kind of shies away from, sort of thing, tries to slither his way out of it. But anyway, he's kind of taken the job. He's made an opening kind of for it, and he's like, well, yeah, he's hounded the new boss, so he's going to take the new position. But it's kind of like Jack Nicholson has kind of lay down, is like, whatever sort of thing. But so he's found out at this big party that Christopher Plummer's had at his huge house. He's found out all of this stuff. But in that same time, he's walking by some horses, and the horses are freaking out around him because he's been bitten. And he has a bit of a panic attack, and he stumbles off, and he comes across Michelle Pfeiffer, who's actually the daughter of the new owner. She's one of these rebels against the father, everything. But she's not like a teenager. She's like she's not meant to be young. She's like an older character, like late 20s, early 30s, something like she's portrayed as. Excuse me. But anyway, like, yeah, stuff is going on, and Jack Nicholson is starting to get these senses. He's like in the office one day, and I can't remember his name, the actor's name. He's quite good, but he's like Niles Crane in Frasier. Like, he's like, oh, you got contact lenses on? He's like, no. He's like reading without glasses, and then he can hear everything everyone's saying. There's a few funny scenes, like, and he can smell things. He's like saying, "Hey, don't drink tequila in the morning" to this one guy, and he's like, "Fuck, how do you know that?" And then he's on the phone like moaning about him, and then he can hear all this. So there's a few funny altercations there, but you can see Nicholson's character starting to change. And at one point he's at home and he's smelling all his wife's clothes, and he's like, he recognises the scent, so he's kind of like running through the city, and he goes to James Spader's, and he knows his wife's there, and his wife, he runs up the stairs and she's there, so his wife's even cheating on him. It's like everyone uses it, like Nixon's character is like a doorstep, but there's like a changing point. So the movie is progressing more. It's like he's realizing what's going on. His relationship with Michelle Pfeiffer's character is progressing more and more, and it's deaths are happening. Like his like the police come round, his wife's got murdered, and he's like, holy shit, this is me doing these things. And anyway, he's at the so the police are after him. Like, she gets scared, she realizes it's him as well, so she goes to the police station because they want to like kind of interview her. James Spader's there, and of course he has the contacts in, which no one ever sees. They're kind of totally weird, different eyes in these movies, but he's acting really different. And it's she asks, has he been bitten, and he acts really funny to that, and he wants her to stay, obviously, and he's been bitten. He got bitten by someone, and he follows her back to the house, where we have a big final kind of fight at the end. That's pretty much how it goes. There's a few funny bits in this. I like in like there's one bit where Nicholson's character is really changing, and he's actually kind of what James Spader did to him, he's done to James Spader. So he's taken his job back, and because of how Spader is, it was all Weasley, they're in the toilet, and he's like, look, I'm sorry about all this, and Nicholson's like, you're fired. So he's starting to beg, and then Nicholson starts peeing on his shoes. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I'm marking my territory. And there's kind of like little bits like that spotted out through the film, and it's good. It's I mean, we have a huge character, a huge actor here with Nicholson, and I kind of like thinking about this. It's like, was the part written for him? Did they want an older Wolf, or is it kind of like I can't figure it out. It was a lot like the studio, the casting. It's like, look, we can get Nicholson and stuff like that. He felt a bit old for me as a Wolf. That's not like an ageist thing, but you're losing energy with this film. Like, how you expect the Wolfman to be, especially with more later adaptations. You look at the werewolf films. I mean, this was in the early 90s, so they kind of weren't as many as like what they are now, but you kind of expect a more frenetic pace, and it's a little calmer. I mean, that's in the writing to how it is, but I couldn't help wondering if it's like I suppose it's his character as well. It's like Nicholson is being portraying as like quite a tired character in that, but when he's the Wolf, he still seems a bit of a tired character. And like how he is, it's like, he's an older guy in this. I think he's in his, maybe in like early 60s maybe in this sort of thing. And it's like, they needed a younger Wolf, which we did get, but far too late. And I would have loved to seen Spader more as Wolfie Spader. I think he would have been really, because what we got from him was great. And it's almost like when he was the Wolf, that's was the shining point of the movie. It's like, those are the best bits, when we have Spader at the end as this Wolf. But it's a little slow at times, but it's interesting. It keeps you going. The story's kind of, we kind of figure out what the story is, but it's all nicely put together. It's a lot more looking at the human side of stuff. Of course, we look at like Wolfie stuff, but it's kind of that's almost like a subtext to this movie. It's like more how it's affecting him as a person as he's changing into this unknown thing at the time, and how it changes his character. So yeah, maybe it's like a bit of a character study, kind of how it is. But anyway, kind of rambling on now, I'm kind of going to finish this review. But I think most of you would have checked Wolf out. But if you haven't, fancy a bit of a werewolf film that's a bit of a different pace with a Hollywood budget, go and check it out. It's worth it. All right, guys, thanks very much, and catch you next week. Bye-bye.